Bomber class.
It's me.
Calm your rust.
Do I need to calm down?
Always. Calm yourself.
I'll never be calm, you know.
You need to learn some peace of mind.
You gonna teach me?
Yeah. By ghosting.
Listen, it's always a pleasure. Back in the gym. I'm sorry I haven't been training in the gym. Obviously, you know, I got my head caved in the other day. Not by fighting. Where's the sympathy?
Yes,
You
man,
see the Brummy sympathy.
you're all right, and you're all right.
Not even a message to say, "Oh, you're all right."
I know you're all right. That's
you sent
fine.
a laughy emoji.
I know you're all right.
Where's the
that's
support?
You're here, man. I knew you'd be solid. You get me?
Yeah.
You know
Anyway,
me.
good to see you, but there's so much to talk about.
Is that?
Yeah, the heavyweights, man. Because it's like, you know what? I want you to navigate this. Do you want to talk about you first? What do you want to do? You make a decision, Mr. Dacres.
It's your channel. You're the one the questions to ask.
I got loads of questions to ask. You were supposed to be out in.
Then.
You see this geezer? You were supposed to be out in April. I know it's still April.
Yeah.
But what's happening?
See, man. Yeah, just like me. I'm just trying to. I'm in the gym training. Just want to get back out. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's pro boxing. Many people know. You know. Sometimes you can't get out as regular as you want, or you know, the fights don't come as quick as you want. But yeah, hopefully, just my managers, you know, trying to get myself out there and just get me some fight notes soon. Hopefully.
Do you get frustrated?
You can get frustrated. Obviously, you'd want to box regular, you know what I mean? But also, sometimes it's out of your control. What can I do? I can only train and prepare myself to fight. And, you know, there's only so much I can do. So I can't really... it is frustrating, but, you know, this is boxing. And a lot of people know this over the years. You got to keep your head down and you got to just, you know, not let it sway you here or there or get demotivated. You just got to stay in the gym, ticking over. And then when the opportunity comes, you know, you're not too far off it and you're ready to go.
Do you think that laid-back attitude that you've got helps that?
Yeah, probably. Well, this is the way you got to be in it. Like, you can only control what you can control. So there's no point getting pent up about it. All I can do is work hard in the gym, train hard like I am. I'm preparing myself. You know, really, it's harder just to not overtrain, to be honest, when you haven't got these fights coming up, or you haven't got a specific date, because you know you can overdo it, burn yourself out. So you know I gotta keep on the sparring, not doing loads of sparring, but just keeping myself sharp. Sparring every week, yeah, sparring most weeks, and like I said, just not being too far off it, because you know, and then you can just sharpen yourself up. You know, just ramp it up a little bit, and you know. The usual fight preparations that go into, you know, preparing for a 12-round fight.
Do you wish you was a little bit more mouthy, like to say, look, I'm still here. I want to fight. Do you think, like, I don't know. I know you're a gentleman. You've got that reputation across the board. He's a gentleman. He's a nice guy, and you know what Joseph Parker said to me once: nice guys never win.
Yeah. So he's one of the nicest guys in boxing. He's doing all right.
But he had to start doing his bits, whether I know he does his style of call outs or whatever.
Yeah.
But he did say, and it's always stuck with me, nice guys never win.
Yeah, it's right in a way in boxing, you know. Sometimes it's the loudest mouth that gets your foot in the door. You know what I mean? And I've always been the same, where I just hopefully let my boxing do the talking. You know, minus the last one, but I didn't really get boxing, so it didn't really speak much for me. But when I get in there, get going, my boxing will do the talking for me. And I still got, you know, every confidence in myself that the boxing will do the talking. But obviously, you know, it's a pro game,
yeah,
and
it's the entertainment,
you know,
business,
chatting
Simon.
shit and all the little things like that. It does help certain fighters. You know, it does. You know, it's just not the way I am. You know, I'm not really much of a hype kind of person, and that I'm just, you know, keep myself on that one level, not too up, not too down.
I think you're spiteful though.
Yeah, you gotta have that in the ring. In the ring, you gotta have that. You gotta have that way about you.
I think you're spiteful outside the ring, but you just don't show it unless, like, if somebody, like, you're the type of person that probably let somebody potentially try and back you into a corner, but then you can be spiteful then. Sometimes, and it's like I said.
This is my motto. If you don't trouble me, I won't trouble you. But if you do trouble, then obviously you're gonna have trouble in it. But you know, if you don't trouble me, I won't trouble you. You know what I mean? I just try to, you know, I've had too much troubles, you know, in your life to, you know, you wanna. Boxing's the way of escaping that, innit? So you don't wanna.
Okay, you try not to mix those two sides back.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
I wish you would, though.
We're trying to elevate ourselves, you know.
See, I wish you would, but that's just me. I like the entertainment side of the boxing.
Yeah, you do, because that's what you're about, and that's what the platforms are about. The media people, they want,
And the fans.
they want stuff to watch in it. But you know, us as fighters, this is our life, and I don't want to live a life where I'm just like a dickhead. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just be a dickhead. I'm not, for the sake of it. I'm not in it.
Yeah.
I just live my life like normal. You know what I mean? And I just want to be an exceptional fighter, which is built in the gym and in the ring. You don't take me being a dickhead to make me, you know, throw a jab any better, you know, throw my punches any better. That. Obviously, you got to have that bit about you to go for it, you know, in a fight. But that's there from over the years. You know,
We need that for him.
Yeah. But I don't need to be a dickhead, you know what I mean?
No, I hear that. I saw Jai Pattaya post up something, and Instagram's out here ratting on everybody at the moment. So it shows who likes the post, and Jai Pattaya was basically, you like the post, and he was talking about Jai Pattaya, he was saying that, you know, he's not one of these celebrity boxers. He just wants to fight. He's got his home life.
Yeah,
blah blah blah.
Yeah,
I know, because you popped up then, and it's like his boxing.
Yeah, he
does talk for him, because
he's a prime example. Like, he don't want to be a celebrity. Like he said, what's he say? He don't want to be a celebrity. He don't want to be a, you know, famous boxer. He wants to be the best fighter. He wants to be a respected fighter, which is, you know, it'll come hand in hand. If you're the best fighter, you'll get, you know, you're gonna get a certain level of fame. But that's not his goal, his ambition, and that's why, you know, you stay focused on the job.
What do you think you need to improve on too? Because it's nice for him to say that. He's knocking man out, and he's got belts.
Yeah.
You're not there yet.
Yeah. Definitely.
So you've got to get there.
Yeah, 100%.
And so how are you going to get there? What's the plan in Solomon Dacres' mind to get there?
Just got to get back in the ring, man, and just show it, because there's nothing I can say other than I got to just show it in the ring, and trust me, like, I know what I'm capable of, you know what I mean? And, you know, many people in boxing know what I'm capable of in the ring. It was just the last time I just didn't get to show it. It's just unfortunate, but like, it's there. Like, as I stand here today, I'm capable of going in there and showing world class level boxing and fighting. Trust me, you know, I just got to show it. There's nothing I can say. I just put me in there and I'll show it.
And the thing is, it's getting you back noticed, because I know I say the same thing, and I know I'm like granny on your neck, but I don't see nothing on your socials. This is kind of like why I'm here, because I need to, like, the eyes need to come back on you, because if you're out of sight, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You have to play into the social media. I know, I get it. You don't like it. It's like, it's not for me. I want to get in the ring. But these days, to get in the ring, you got to be talking. You've got to be out there.
Yeah. You know, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You know, you're not wrong.
So what are you going to do then?
You know, we got this interview, haven't we? So.
And some sparring. You did some good sparring.
Yeah, I'm sparring. Doing what we're doing there. Just doing what we do, innit?
Listen, I want to see you back out, because I was frustrated at the way that your fight ended, because, like I said, I know what you're capable of. I've followed you since the beginning of your career. I know you're a really good boxer. And it's just frustrating, because it's like, now he's come to like a bit of a full stop, and now we've got to like push to get you back out there again. The fight on the weekend, you know, Jamie TKV and David Adeleye, obviously you fought both of them, one in the amateurs, one in the pros. They went at it, and, you know, the fight came to a controversial win. A win's a win, by the way, but a controversial win. But I'd like your thoughts on that fight. I'd like you to break that fight down and, just talk us through it.
I thought TKV was winning just by throwing jabs, to be honest. Just jabbing. Adeleye didn't show much head movement and much guile about him defensively, you know. He went for a couple of swings. There was a lot of jabbing and clinching, not much going on. Jab and clinch. Maybe that was TKV's tactics, you know. Scored a jab and scored a jab and get in the clinch, shut him down, so he don't get that them counter hooks them Adeleye can throw. You know, there's a few bits in a few little clinches early on where TKV actually, you know, threw a little one and a little break and that, you know, inside, and Adeleye done the same, you know, on the break, hit him and his shot made a dent. You know what I mean? But you know, the ref shout break. It's just how you interpret it. And if you hear break, you could be naive in thinking they're not going to throw. Maybe you should protect yourself at all times. You know, because obviously when you start stop boxing, you really stop. But sometimes break, you do get cheeky hits on the break. But it's a hard one. Because it depends what the ref would say before. Usually they say, if I tell you to break, I'm going to let you work on the break. Or he might say, when I say break, don't throw it. He might have told him before, and I'm going to let you work. I'm going to say break, step away, protect yourself. He might have said that. I don't know what the ref said before. So he might have been letting him work, but when you break, he kind of broke and he just left himself open at the same time. Okay. But it could be naive. It could be Adeleye taking advantage of it also. But it's hard to say. Like, it's done, innit? The damage was done then, innit? The damage was done, so it's just how it's interpreted. But they got a rematch, so.
And how do you think the rematch goes?
I think Adeleye might have a bit more confidence and probably he might go for the stoppage
earlier,
a bit earlier, yeah. Because you know he can clearly hurt him, so he might go for it a bit earlier. But it might be similar tactics, a bit cagey. We'll see.
We definitely will see. I think it's going to apparently it'll go to purse bids, but I don't think it will. I think that will get sorted. I want to ask about your feelings when you saw those two guys going for the British, and that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Yeah, it's a bit wounding, and it's seeing two people in that. You know, I know I can beat, especially with Adeleye. I wanted that rematch myself, you know, and I know if I'm in that ring, I can be the British champ. Knowing, you know, for the British and that, you know, you're like, fuck's sake, that should have been me, could have been me, sort of thing. But you know, it's out of my control. I've just got to try and get myself back in there, because I know I would love to fight the winner. If it's Adeleye again, love that, obviously, for myself personally. If it's TKV, it's a fight we've tried to get in the past that you know we've put to them, and we haven't been able to get that fight. So if it's for the British, even better. You know, I'd love that fight, and I know I'll be British champion if I get that fight, which would be great for me. So you know, it's something that I'd love that opportunity. I really would take it, but just have to see how things go, you know. But you know, I'd have no qualm. That would be the ideal fight for me. You know that.
Does it feel like a roller coaster of emotions every time? Like, you had the fight, you got stopped, okay. Then there's the initial like feelings around it, which we discussed last time. Then obviously David Adeleye goes to fight Jamie TKV, so they're showing your knockout over and over again because it promotes his next fight, which is how it goes. Yeah. So then there's dealing with that. I don't know how you deal with it. That's what I want to talk to you about.
It's minor, innit?
Is it? Okay.
It happened. Like, no, not showing anything again. The worst is done in the ring, innit? Like, you know, I'm over it. You know what I mean? If I was weak mentally, oh my God. But like, even Joe Parker, you know, he's had his
with Joe Joyce. That was coming up again.
And he said it in the press conferences. I just don't want to be a highlight reel thing again. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he's had it before. But you know, the strength of character is what shows, and you come back, you get over it. Like, it's happened, you know. So what? You know what I mean? Like I said, as I stand here today, I'd stand in that ring, no problem, and I'd get the job done any day of the week now.
Moving on to Joe Joyce, obviously you know you're managed by the same company. He was due to fight Dillian Whyte.
Yeah.
First of all, I know the fight didn't happen. I'm not saying that it won't happen. So I want your thoughts on that fight. Should it have happened, how do you believe that would have ended up?
With Whyte and Joyce, it would have been a good fight. I think Hrgovic is probably a bit more trickier for Joyce. His style of, you know, throwing the overhand right, you know, a bit of a longer jab, you know, longer backhand. I mean, Dillian would have been coming with a strong left hook. And Joyce looked a bit more mobile, you know, against that Hrgovic.
He did, didn't he?
Compared to, and when I sparred him, I usually sparred Joe, other than when he fought Zhangs, because he's southpaw, and I sparred him, and I noticed that, you know, I said he's lost a bit of weight. He's got a bit of spring back in his step. but he was still taking as good as he gives. You know what I mean? And it's a hard night's work for anybody, but at what expense now at this stage? You know what I mean? It's a good fight. It's just good for the fans, but taking these shots as a heavyweight and having good fights and wars all the time, it's not great for your health. And unless you're winning and getting a big opportunity, what's the motive going forward? If you've got a good few quid in the bank.
I spoke to him and he shares like complete desire to carry on. And before I might have been like, yeah, maybe you should stop. But now I'm like, you just got to go with what you want to do, because there's nobody can tell him anything.
Yeah, no one's going to tell him.
Do you know what I mean?
He's one of them, Joe. He's just been boxing for that. It's just what he knows, and he just will box.
Yeah.
He will fight anyone, and he will give anyone a hard night's work. You'd like to see him get his hand raised again. The last, I think he's lost 4 out of the last 5, which is a mad statistic when you think about it.
Yeah.
But, for the caliber that he's being at, but it's just one of them. You need to get a win on the board, which you'd like to see.
Hrgovic then, obviously, come out. I thought the fight was a little bit closer. I don't do score, Solomon. I'll leave that to you guys and the judges. I thought it was closer, because I do believe Joel was a lot better than I thought he would be against Hrgovic.
Yeah.
I know Hrgovic had a shorter camp. He was heavier, a bit more fleshy than he usually is. I get it. However, he was slightly slow as well because of that. You could see that he wasn't.
Yeah, but
Hrgovic
he does
fit
sort of
ready.
get a bit gassed anyway. Hrgovic, if you look at
He switches off.
He goes like after about 4 or 5 rounds, he does go a bit slower, like gets a bit tired and that. So and he was just backing up into the corner. And Joe was there, but what he was doing was he was backing up, conserving his energy, but he was landing clean right hands.
Yes.
As Joe was coming in.
Yes.
And he was landing clean shots on the back foot.
Yeah.
Even though he was getting pushed back, he was tired. He was landing some good shots just to keep it
Back
in the
him
eye
up,
of the
yeah.
judges that look, I'm landing there. I'm still landing. I'm going backwards, but I'm landing, which is what won in the fight.
What do you think he should do next, Hrgovic? Because obviously we can't speak on Joyce. That's something that's obviously going to be up in the air and he's got to make his own decision. But Hrgovic is like, yeah, I'm back in the game now. I've won this fight. Frank, once again, like hands of contractors are walking out the ring. It's like, yeah, all right, let's have another heavyweight. Yeah. What do you think he should do next? And when you look at a fighter like that, is that somebody that you consider fighting as well, to be fair? To be fair?
Yeah, because,
there's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Nah, because like these are guys that are, in the mix at that level. So I want to be in the mix, and I want to be, getting good scouts like that. That'd be a good win for me. You know what I mean? That would be a good win. He's just come back, beat Joyce. He's up there. That would be a good fight for me to, get myself back in that mix. A name that's, around that top 10 sort of mix. So yeah, I'd love to, but I don't know what opportunities he's gonna get. He's gonna look for some sort of, top few world rankings or something. I don't know, man. Maybe someone like I don't know, Caballero or something. But
he's too high up.
But Caballero's, yeah,
WBC 1, isn't he?
Yeah, Caballero's probably deserves a title shot. Same with people like Parker. There's probably someone there in the mix that for him to. They'll sort something out, won't they?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Maybe Zhang rematch. I don't know.
Maybe.
Because no, he beat Zhang anyway.
He
so
did.
He would have.
But he did. Well,
he didn't.
He didn't. But yeah.
But you know what? If he's in the driving seat now, to be fair, he won't really need to take it, will he?
Delicious Ori had his debut.
Yeah.
Just your thoughts on that?
Yeah, just come off the amateurs, come out the Olympics. Just starting off. You know what I mean? Just getting that first one out of the way.
It was tough. I felt kind of sorry for him because I believe the bigger the hype, the bigger the expectation.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of pressure on him. I mean, I like to video when the fighters are walking towards the ring and, just to get that moment in. I'll post a reel upon my socials probably on the weekend. But there was so much pressure on him and you could see how upset he was. And even when I spoke to him post-fight, Solomon, there was cheers, and I think it might have been Jack Rafferty knocked down Corey. And he said, that's what I wanted to hear. And I just saw almost like that pain in his face that he didn't get that. And I felt like,
It's pro boxing, man. Not everything goes your way. Not everything's going to be perfect. You know what I mean? It's a long old road. Just starting out in the pros. Got the amateur experience, and just give yourself time to see how it goes.
How do you think he's going to get on?
heavyweight division, man. Who knows where anyone's gonna end up? You know, you just got to give it your best shot and see. You know, it's an unpredictable game, isn't it? So you can't really say. You know, look how many people have, like, you say, how are they gonna do? No good.
Yeah, you're right.
They're
You can't really predict it. Yeah,
this
you can't
person's gonna
predict
be
it.
great and they don't become anything. You can't predict these things.
But you're going to have a better eye than I will, though.
Yeah, I've got my own eye and that for things, but you know, just everyone's got to have their own due chance to prove themselves. You know, it's not for me to say or try and predict how good they're gonna go.
A fight that I spoke about for you as well. I know we're going back onto you, but you are today's subject is yourself and Frazer Clarke. It's a fight that I would have liked to have seen like next, but I know Frazer's going in against Ebenezer Tete, who fought obviously Dillian over in Ireland. I can't remember when it was. You know, Frazer, should come through that fight no problem. He's fighting next week, Easter Sunday, courtesy of Boxer. Potential yourself and Frazer, it was the number 1 and the number 2 GB guys. There's a little bit of backstory, a little bit interest around that, and then to see you guys go at it.
Yeah.
What do you think of that fight?
Yeah, it'd be a great fight. I think it's one of them that's always sort of
had the potential
to be something. You know, hopefully we would have hoped it was for maybe a British title fight or something.
Listen,
you know what I mean? But,
who knows?
But or the title, definitely a title fight that is you know, like the 2 top amateurs on in the country for a good few years.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a great fight. And it's something that's probably just one of them that's due to happen at some point.
Well, hopefully it does. I got to get your predictions then. You've got Liam Cameron goes up against your friend, you know, your former GB friend as well, Ben Whittaker. A controversial end to that fight when it turned from boxing to WWE. It was very entertaining. We had leg gate, we had wheelchair gate, we had everything gate around that fight. But, however, it's got them where they are. They're both going to have a nice payday. That all switches off after a while. They're both going to get a nice payday. What do you think of that fight? And what does Ben have to do to win? You have to be biased. He's your mate.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that fight.
It's good because it'll be good for Ben to quash a few demons, and you know, I know what Ben's like. He would love nothing more to shut everybody up that's been chatting shit about him. He would love that. He'll relish in that.
Yeah, I get it. And why wouldn't he?
And what he needs to do, he just needs to pace himself, because to be like the first fight, the first 2 rounds, I thought Ben's gonna stop him here. This keys ain't gonna last. But he's tough. That Liam Cameron's tough. He kept coming, dragged him into it a bit, and you know, Ben knows that now he's a bit tougher, and you know, maybe just pace yourself, box. When it comes to a boxing standpoint, he can't touch him. He's just not gonna get dragged into it, not put too much into it too early. Pace himself, keep sharp, and you know, don't think about the fans looking for a highlight reel knockout.
For real.
Box, get that win, and move on to the next.
I like that. Don't look for the fans looking for a highlight reel. Just get the W. I love that. Your stomach's growling. I'm going to let you go. You're hungry. Dinner time, innit? Listen, thank you so much for your time. Fingers crossed we get some fight news for you soon. It'd be good to see you back out, because you need to get the past behind you now and move forward.
Need it. That's what I'm about.
Do you know what I mean?
I would have been loved to, if this was like the 1920s, man, I would have probably fought like a couple of months. Like I would have probably had like 3 fights by now. You would have. You know what I mean?
But it's this generation with the politics.
Man. But, man, I'd love to just jump straight back in, and that's what we're going to do anyway, because that's what we're working for. So, you know, no doubt about it, we'll be back on top.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.